Marjorie Taylor Greene just issued a major warning to Donald Trump as she continues her revenge tour, calling out Donald Trump and ensuring that MAGA crumbles. Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, warning, when you cast out and try to destroy those of us who fight the hardest, and you keep and protect weak, cucked men, well, let's just say you have a problem on your hands. We aren't in your cult and we owe you nothing, and we are still the strongest fighters. Keeping and protecting weak, cucked men around you is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling out Donald Trump for, and she says, you have a problem. She also says the Trump endorsement is now the kiss of death for statewide races in Georgia. Look at 2020, look at 2022 Senate races. This is why I never asked for his endorsement and didn't want it when I considered running. And I decided not to run because the Senate is worse than the House. Both bad. Upon the news that U.S. inflation has surged to 4.2%, Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, unbelievable. Here is exactly what Trump's war in Iran, costing billions of dollars every day, is doing to Americans. MAGA used to call this Biden inflation and scream from the rooftops over this garbage. Not what we campaigned for, not what the people voted for. Nation in decline. And then she reposts this message. Either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state. I watched Donald Trump say these things on campaign videos and asked myself, what happened? At what point did Donald Trump turn on us? He always turned on you. He hated you. He always viewed you as the stupidest people and the mark. He's a con artist. He's been this way his whole damn life. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, listen to that video that I just described where he said, we're going after the deep state. All these promises, Trump told us exactly what we wanted to hear. And then he turned around and broke them all. He protected the elites, built a fortress around the swamp, endorsed all the rhinos, and became a warmonger waging wars. Trump is the very snake he warned us all about. You should have watched our video, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Trump the Snake. Do y'all remember the Trump the Snake video? Should I bring out Trump the Snake video? I might re-bring out that Trump the Snake video in one moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene then posts, Donald Trump ran for president claiming he would be the one to drain the swamp. Instead, he built a fortress around it, protected and fully became the king of the swamp. Lindsey Graham has an F rating for his conservative voting scorecard and loves war almost as much as Mark Levin. This is repulsive, and it's a photo of Donald Trump next to Lindsey Graham. And then she says, our government is captured by a foreign government. That's what she says regarding Israel and Netanyahu capturing Donald Trump. I'm going to show you what Marjorie Taylor Greene just said when she went on CNN moments ago. I'm going to show you the snake video, by the way, so make sure you watch. After I show you these Marjorie Taylor Greene clips, a few of them going after Trump, I'm going to show you the first MeidasTouch video ever from 2020 called Trump the Snake, where this was when we stepped into this area and I had like no political background before this. And so I'm like, clearly this guy's the snake. Do y'all remember Trump the Snake? Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene says basically that Trump's a traitor and that these traitors like Trump are covering up a child sex trafficking ring. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. Let's play it.
There's also a new report out today, an extensive report that's in the New York Times, and it's based on Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swann's upcoming new book that's about to be published called Regime Change. And they write in this new report today about how the release of the Epstein files, debating over how to handle Jeffrey Epstein, basically paralyzed the White House. And there were meetings in the Situation Room even where obviously, you know, of the utmost national security concern, meetings pertaining to that happened. When you read that and you hear that the president's team, the vice president, the chief of staff, everyone's meeting inside the sit room about Jeffrey Epstein, what does it tell you about how they viewed that story?
Well, unfortunately, that's not new news to me. Unfortunately, that was something that I lived through. I watched the Speaker of the House shut down the government and keep the House completely out of session for 8 weeks in the fall of 2025, simply because he was under orders of the president and his team not to do anything in the House of Representatives because they were doing everything they could do to stop that resolution from passing the House. the same resolution that I signed the discharge petition to force to a vote on the floor. I'm not surprised by this news, Caitlin, because I also had a very uncomfortable phone call with the president before the release of the Epstein files, where he told me that his friends would get hurt if the files were released. And I'll never forget that. I'll also never forget the text message he sent me when I told him that my son's life was being threatened because he was calling me a traitor because I fought to release the Epstein files, where he told me that I deserved it. And so this doesn't shock me that his team was paralyzed. But I tell you what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous and unforgivable. We're talking about pedophiles and rapists of the elite class of people that never get held accountable for anything. So if they were paralyzed and scared and didn't know what to do about releasing the Epstein files, these people are absolutely absurd. They don't deserve the American people's trust. As a matter of fact, we should consider them as, they should be considered traitors. They're traitors. The ones that refuse to release the Epstein files want to cover up for pedophiles and rapists and all sorts of disgusting things in these files. Those are the traitors to the American people, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
This report basically says it was the president who didn't want anything released. Are you saying that applies to the president himself?
I'm saying exactly that. He told me on the phone that his friends would get hurt, and that's why he's against releasing the Epstein files. And I think we've seen a lot of that dribble out. So yeah, it all matches. It completely adds up, from the phone call that I had with the president to this report that is coming out. It totally, it all lines up.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable to hear you say that you think the president is a traitor.
More from Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying how no one's been held accountable with respect to the Epstein files in the United States. There's a massive pedo cover-up, and Donald Trump is in the center of it. Let's play it.
And when you read this report, it says that the vice president suggested having Tucker Carlson interview Ghislaine Maxwell to have her clear the president's name publicly. Do you think that would have been helpful had that gone forth?
Well, Tucker didn't interview Ghislaine Maxwell, did he? So, yeah, the fact that that didn't happen should speak volumes for Tucker Carlson. And it also shows the lengths they were willing to go to try to find someone trustworthy to the American people to try to extend this cover-up. And the American people just aren't buying it. This has been the top issue ever since it started. It should have never been a fight. It should have been the easiest thing to happen. And I'll point something else out. No one has been held accountable for the Epstein files. Nobody. In other countries, there's people that have been arrested, people that have been forced to step down. Here in America, we haven't seen any justice for the victims. And that's because look who's in charge. They're not being prosecuted. They're not being held accountable. And I think that comes from the top.
More from Marjorie Taylor Greene here, saying Trump has brought zero accountability. Trump targets Republicans. He hates Republicans, she says. Let's play this clip.
But he has targeted 4 Republicans harder than he has ever come against any Democrat. And that's myself, Thomas Massie, Nancy Mason, Lauren Boebert. Why? Because we fought to release the Epstein files. And I think that is the story that people need to pay attention to, because that tells more truth about Donald Trump than it will ever tell you on Truth Social.
And just a reminder, Marjorie Taylor Greene's been saying, how odd is it that Donald Trump repeatedly says, I'm not going to heaven, I'm not going to heaven. She's like, this is a strange thing to say for anybody. And she goes, if you're out there saying that, like, doesn't that mean that, like, your decision making is just completely and utterly impaired? Here, listen to this.
And then we have the president who, by the way, Megan, this really needs to be said. Donald Trump has said repeatedly on camera and in interviews, he doesn't think he's going to heaven. Well, I want to ask a question, a serious question. What is in his mind? What is his mental state? If he doesn't think he's going to heaven and he is a man towards the end, he's in the 4th quarter. He's towards the end of his life. How does that pan out for the rest of us when we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven? What does that mean his decision making is? He already said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported, the man that denounced what happened in Iraq, the man that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change, promise it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it. Tulsi Gabbard promised it. All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
All right. Now, we called that he was the snake. I said, I got to show you this. Here is Trump the Snake. This was a video made by MeidasTouch. Oh, geez, you remember this one? We made this one in 2020. Let's play it right here.
Who has heard the poem called The Snake?
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Well-documented and severe financial downturn in the past year.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. Right. I mean,
you are one.
All right.
And it's more than anger, it's hatred.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. Down the path, along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake.
You'll absolutely love Trump steaks.
More than 150 former students allege Trump University was a fraud.
Persistently illegal conduct at the president's charity.
Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman. Sigh the vicious.
Would you denounce what happened in 2016?
President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
He withheld the money, he withheld the meeting, he used it to coerce Ukraine to do these political investigations.
The American embassy in Baghdad under siege.
She stroked his pretty skin again and held him tight.
The Chinese government awarded Ivanka Trump's brand 7 new trademarks.
They're a pack of grifters. His campaign manager's got 2 condos, a Ferrari, a yacht. They're all just fleecing the campaign.
That snake gave her a vicious bite. The coronavirus. This is their new hoax.
The U.S. now leading the world in deaths.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
This is a great success story.
I have saved you, cried the woman. And you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die.
We want to terminate healthcare. And then I see the disinfectant.
Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
And then Marjorie Taylor Greene gives a warning that she is afraid that Donald Trump will try to cancel the 2028 elections. Here, let's play it.
And I think it's incredibly dangerous, and no one should ever accept it. Absolutely not. There cannot be a third term. No, that's against our laws. That's against the Constitution. There is no third term.
Yeah,
and if this country is at war, no, our elections should not be canceled.
And finally, Marjorie Taylor Greene saying she believes Donald Trump is physically impaired. Let's play it.
I think it's the same thing with Trump. Whatever it is, his brain's fried.
Yeah, this is a sad thing that happens to people as they age into their final years. And I'm no medical expert or doctor, but that could be what's going on. Unfortunately, they would lie to us, and they'll tell us he's in perfect health. Although we know for a fact that someone that never sleeps or sleeps 3 to 4 to 5 hours a night, well, that's the unhealthiest thing you can do, especially as you're approaching 80 years old.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. What'd you think about the snake?
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.